Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Wow, we have arrived. We begin Shalom Aleichem on page 42 in Yiddish.
Shalom Aleichem, Malochim feine. Shalom Aleichem, Malochim meine. Shalom Aleichem, Eltern und Kind. Shabbos Kodesh is at Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos. Shalom Aleichem, Eltern und Kind. Shabbos Kodesh is at Shalom Aleichem, gute Freund. Shabbos Kodesh is doch heint. Shalom Aleichem, alle Menschen. Shalom Aleichem, lieber Shabbos. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos. Shalom Aleichem, alle Menschen. Shalom Aleichem, lieber Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom. Wow, so for many years, people heard me say one thing on Friday nights, which I was told I was never allowed to say again, which was, it's gonna get worse. Well, this week I'm happy to say it got a little better. Let's just be honest, there was a rainbow wave in the elections this week. More LGBT people have been elected than in the history of the United States, including 2 lesbian governors. And the list is so long, I actually prepared it to read tonight, but we wouldn't have time for this very important Shabbos service. A Jewish governor of Pennsylvania now leads that great state. Some say he's going to be the first Jewish president. Watch out for him, Josh Shapiro. What a week this has been. Then today, on this November 11th, we have a lot of things to celebrate as we move into Shabbos, but we do want to acknowledge that this is Armistice Day. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, World War I finally ended. Tens of millions of people died. And Armistice Day then turned into Veterans Day. And so on this day, we honor all those who have served this country in the military, and I want to add in any way, but certainly those who are veterans of our armed forces. And in honor of Veterans Day, the first elected woman governor of New York signed into legislation today a law extending benefits to any LGBT military person who was dishonorably discharged because of being gay. Elections matter. So here we are with what a busy week, so much happening in the world, and Shabbos arrives. We bring to this Shabbos so many different feelings from this week and the roller coaster of what the world has been like. And here we are on this day to mark a very significant moment in the life of the synagogue and in the life of Cantor Sam Rosen. It is about acknowledging a moment in time. And like any good Jewish ritual, the goal is to pause from the busyness of our lives to really mark a moment in time that might otherwise just pass too quickly without a moment of real deep celebration. And let's be honest, some sadness. It was last Shabbat that Cantor Rosen's grandmother passed from this world to the next. A generation in your family leaves you now to us. And I said to Cantor Rosen earlier in the week that I really wanted him and Jason and Cantor Rosen's family to determine, should we postpone this celebration tonight in honor of the death of your beloved grandmother? And your family conferred and discussed and felt like it was so important to continue after Shiva because it was so important to your grandmother, what you have become in the world. And so tonight, which is true always, we're never just acknowledging the person who's standing in front of us. We are never alone. Your father who lost his mother, none of us are alone. We are created by the people whose lives made our life possible. And so we join together, creating a community that will take one step further into history, into the world, but really deeply appreciating and understanding your grandmother. And we don't forget that while we're here tonight. And of course, that's what life is, right? We carry with us all the time grief and sorrow and joy and happiness and disappointment and excitement. And there are so many different things that actually make up what it really means to be a human being. So tonight we honor the range of those feelings, deep sadness, but also great joy for the gifts that she gave your family. And we as a community, deep joy that you are here with us. So this is another remarkable season in the life of CBST, is that we have two young clergy celebrating their installations and becoming part of our clergy team in a formal way in this season. We've never had this before. And part of what makes CBST remarkable is that it happens among the interns. There's a cohort, a sense of a team, of a class, where these young people really see each other as their primary supports in many ways, and the relationship is very deep. So tonight we honor you as part of the team you are with Rabbi Werber, whose installation we'll celebrate in December. And we understand also that this is a relationship that's of profound nature. And of course, we acknowledge all the relationships that make this possible, and Cantor Rosen has selected some very important people in his life to participate in this ritual. And I want to make sure everybody, and those of you especially who are new to CBST, notice that the program has on page 3 the outline of the service, honoring the composers who have written the various settings, which we'll be singing our liturgy. And then on pages 6 through 9, through 8 are some of the biographies of some of the guest cantors we have with us tonight. And we are, and this honors you, but it really honors us. And as a rabbi, I'm thrilled to welcome Cantor Claire Franco, who is with us tonight, who was your teacher, and she is the senior cantor of the Community Synagogue in Port Washington, New York, and we are thrilled to have you. And for the 2 years before Cantor Rosen was with us, we know how much you did to help shape him, teach him, and make it possible for us to steal him from you. More about that later. Anyway, so we're so grateful, and it's such an honor to have you here. And Cantor Rosen's close friend, Cantor Sarah Anderson, is with us and will be singing as well as part of the service. We're classmates, and Cantor Anderson is the assistant cantor at Temple Emmanuel here in New York City, and her installation will be next Friday night, and Cantor Rosen will be there helping her celebrate her installation. So we are so thrilled that you'll be singing in tonight's service as well. And then, of course, we have the deep honor of welcoming to our community Cantor Robert Abelson, who is really the voice of American Jewish music. And having him here as the cantor he is, the coach he was to Cantor Rosen, and you'll see on each page in the italics below the biographies, Cantor Rosen has written a little bit about what each of these three cantors has meant to him. And part of what we're doing here is acknowledging a very multi-generational thing that exists in Jewish life. Senior rabbis, senior cantors help to train younger cantors, younger rabbis, and watch them emerge to become the leaders we're so proud that they are. And I want to also, before we dive into this service, acknowledge the CBST chorus, which Cantor Rosen began before he went to cantorial school. And so he was one of you, went to cantorial school, and now you're here helping him mark this moment in his spiritual journey. And with the chorus, we have to, of course, acknowledge the role that Joyce Rosenzweig has played in both bringing Cantor Rosen originally into the chorus, encouraging him to go to cantorial school, being his teacher during cantorial school, and now helping to shape and guide him as a cantor here at CBST. So there are so many, and that's part of what the ritual of installation is all about. Now, the word installation, some of you make a lot of fun of, and justifiably, because it sounds like we're installing, a light bulb. But it's actually from the Latin, what it was used in church services to install a clergy meant to give them their place in the church. The word stall was where they stood, or they sang from. And while it is Christian, and I still love it because it has a lot of history to it, but it's about saying what we're doing is acknowledging that you, Cantor Rosen, now have a place. It is your place that it's metaphorical, not literal as it would be in a church setting, but metaphorically what we'll be doing tonight is after tonight's service, you won't just be our full-time employee cantor, you will be CBST's cantor. And that is your place that we are installing. So try and get over the weirdness of that word and think of it as how are we acknowledging the metaphorical space you will now inhabit that's different than before this service began. All right, any other announcements? We are thrilled that not only are these fantastic Jewish teachers and cantors here who have so deeply shaped Cantor Rosen as a singer and as a cantor, but Cantor Rosen's father has been a service leader for many years in Sugar Land, Texas. And I'd like to invite David Rosen to join us to sing with Cantor Rosen Anim Zmirot, which is on page 9 of your program, to acknowledge all the different ways and people who have shaped not only the technical musician that Cantor Rosen is, but hopefully the mensch and human being you are. Page 9 of the program.
Names me wrote these songs we sing. Our names me wrote these songs we weave. From where they come to where they go, our names me wrote these songs we sing. Our names me wrote these songs we sing. Our names me wrote these songs we weave. From where they come to where they go, our names me wrote these songs we sing.
To
these songs we sing. Ani Zmirot, these songs we weave. From where they come to where they go. Ani Zmirot, these songs we sing.
Tissues, please. I'd now like to invite Cantor Rosen's partner, Jason, and Cantor Rosen's family, who's here with us today, his parents, his sister, the nieces and nephews who are here to light the Shabbat candles. Page 38, the blessing for lighting the candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Would you join us over here as I ask everyone to stand if you are able? And would you join us for Shalom Aleichem on page 40? Come join us.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And as you sit down, wish Shabbat Shalom to people around you. Introduce yourself to someone new. Shabbat Shalom. Page 52. Let's sing a new song. Page 58.
יחד הרים ירננו, נהרות עמך וכף, יחד הרים ירננו. זמרו לאדוני, זמרו לאדוני בכינור, זמרו Yeah.
Page 62. Please stand if you are able.
Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, kol Adonai ba'koach, kol Adonai behadad, kol Adonai shover arazim, vayishaver Adonai et azeh hamanot, vayartidem kemo egel, Lebanon v'Sirion, Lebanon v'Sirion, kemo venerenim, kol Adonai chotzei b'lahavot eish, kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, kol Adonai yecholel hayalot, vayechesot ye'arot, ubehechalo kulo mekavod, Adonai lamabul yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitem, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom, Adonai oz le'amo yitem, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
Please be seated. The Chadodi on page 66 is this piyut written when, in fact, probably some of Cantor Rosen's family had to leave the Iberian Peninsula. Thrown out from the Iberian Peninsula because of the anti-Jew activities and laws set by the Catholic Church in that region. There's actually a link we could even feel from that Iberian Peninsula to Cantor Rosen. This is what history means. We are all of what has come before us, creating us. Sometimes we're aware, more often we're not. Sometimes it's actually our families, sometimes it's our chosen family and our ancestors there. But we are deeply aware of what the world is like in which we are now living, and that young people like Cantor Rosen and Rabbi Werber and Eliza Schwartz are choosing to throw their lot in to become leaders of the Jewish people. That gives me a great deal of joy and of confidence in the future. So when we think about those Jews who were forced to leave the Iberian Peninsula or face either conversion or death, well, we think it was all lost, or those who were living at that moment felt complete sense of destruction and despair. Little did they know that some hundreds of years later, Cantor Sam Rosen would be here in the LGBTQ synagogue of New York City, singing a song of exile and of homecoming, of destruction and of reconnection. And so we sing these words. And for those of you who are here for the first time, let me warn you. This has to be sung with joy. If you don't feel it, fake it. If you don't feel it, just put aside the despair of the world in which you live or the deep sadnesses we all experience, and maybe even some of the personal grief, just for now, just to put it aside a little bit to find a place of joy. The remembering we are all links in an enormously complicated chain, and tonight we're celebrating one particular link in that chain. So here's the rule. If I don't think you're singing joyfully enough, I'm like the joy police, okay? We stop. Joyce hates this. We stop. We stop and we start again, okay? So let's find some joy. So sit up straight. Come on, find that. Sing it from your diaphragm. You got to feel it in your body. And imagine, even if you feel full of despair, just be open to what joy might be. Lecha Dodi. Shabbos Queen, we're ready for you.
Lecha Dodi, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Lecha Dodi, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. Lecha Dodi, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי הנה קור הברכה. ראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך, עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה. רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמור עלייכם. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מתנערים מעפר קומית, להשיב בגדי תפארתך עמית. על יד מנישי בית הלחמי, קורבה אל נפשי גאה. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לכדודי לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה איי 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 לכדודי איי 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 לקראת קלה איי 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 פני שבת לקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקלמי מה תשתפכי ומה תהני בחכסו אני אעמי ונמנתה עיר אצילה איי 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 לכדודי איי 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 לקראת קלה איי 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 פני שבת לקבלה בחיילים שיסה שוסייך ורחקו קומם עלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כיסוס לך באהבה איי 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 לכדודי איי 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 לקראת קלה איי 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 פני שבת לקבלה ימינו שמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על ידי שפן פרצי ונצלחה ונגילה איי 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 לכדודי איי 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 לקראת קלה איי 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 פני שבת בואי ושלום עטרת שכינה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה איי 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 לכדודי איי 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 לקראת קלה איי 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 פני שבת לקבלה איי 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 לכדודי איי 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 לקראת קלה איי 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 פני שבת
Please be seated. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, the 92nd Psalm of the Book of Psalms, which brings us into Shabbat from the joy of believing in a future, which is what L'chadodi teaches us. Destruction, exile, death, it's not the end of the story. We build a foundation, there will be a future. The Psalm for Shabbat is all about the essential requirement, the obligation, the beauty of a regular practice of gratitude. It takes exercise, it takes muscles, and here we are, full of gratitude this night. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, page 72.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני וזמר לשמך
Page 78. Please rise in body or spirit for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated. So it's the first Shabbat after the time change, so it has become a little darker a little bit earlier. And it feels appropriate to take a moment to just pause and reflect on the fact that we are now having a little bit more darkness in our days and a little bit more light in the mornings, but a little bit more dark in the evenings as we bring in the evening with Ma'ariv Aravim. And it feels appropriate to think about the ways that our lives are a mix of darkness and light at all times, including tonight, where we are honoring the incredible life and loss of Cantor Rosen's grandmother, but also the incredible, incredible joy of being able to install Cantor Rosen as CBST's Cantor, as so beautifully said by Rabbi Kleinbaum. And I don't know about you all, but my soul is about like 3 feet higher at this point. So join us on page 80 with the Chatima.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני. המעריב ערבים,
Ahavat Olam on page 86 will be set to yet another beautiful and not always heard setting at CBST. And at the end, after the Chatima, I ask that you pause and wait before launching directly into the Shema.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל עמך, אהבת, אהבת עולם, בית ישראל עמך, אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל עמך, אהבת, אהבת עולם, בית ישראל עמך, אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך, אהבת, 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 תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. So, for my audition
to the cantorial program at Hebrew Union College in March 2017. One of the pieces I presented was Paul Ben Chaim's setting of V'ahavta. I was lucky enough to coach this gorgeous setting of a well-known biblical text, vocally with Mark Malamat and with Joyce. In retrospect, this was Joyce introducing me to the possibility of great complexity and beauty in Jewish music and prayer. We even shared the piece at a CBST service around the time of the audition. I did not know our music could be like this. A new world began to unlock. As a cantor, I'm dedicated to bringing and keeping alive the deep artistic realizations of our liturgy and texts composed through history and also in our time. Tonight, instead of Torah trope, Joyce and I will share these familiar words through a different lens, reinvigorating a text that has inspired learning for many centuries. We continue with the Shema on page 88.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Continue individually the next two paragraphs of the Shema.
Adonai Elohechem, Emet.
Page 94.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מי כמוך בעלים אדוני. מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מי כמוך בעלים אדוני. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זיילי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם לעולם ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Page 98 for Hashkiveinu. There's something that was coming to me as we were just praying through this truly stunning, beautiful service, which is that, Cantor Rosen, you encompass so much. And just to see you from your parents and your sibling, your wonderful sister and your beautiful nieces and nephews, through the eyes of your friends and teachers is truly a blessing and a gift. And also, to me, feels like it tells the story of who you are as a person and where you've been and where you've come from, and your Hasidic neshama, your beautiful Hasidic soul that shines through, and also your love of music of just all kinds, and bringing so much light and brightness and shining love of Judaism and love of prayer to our community. And so with Hashkiveinu, which we often dedicate to people who we know who are in a little need of protection, it also has the words asking God to please help us on our journey, help us on our way, help us, protect us against any obstacle or harm that might come or rise up against us. And I invite all of us to think through the journeys of our own lives and ask God for a little bit of protection to guide us, guide our footsteps, guide our paths, make clear the way where it needs to be clear, so that we can also get to a place where we are shining and bright for our own communities. 98.
Hashkiveinu, Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'amidenu malkeinu ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך. הושיענו למען שמך והושיענו למען שמך. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום ואתה ביד עולם. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, סוכת שלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל כל העמים ועל
So beautiful. Please rise in body or spirit for Vishamru on page 102.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. איי 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 ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. Shabbat Vayera.
We will turn on page 104 to the Chatzi Kaddish. Immediately following, we will go into the Shabbat Amida, where you will have the opportunity to pray through the words in the Siddur or the alternative March Piercy program following the Amida, or take this moment, these few moments, to just pray whatever is inside your heart. Just allow yourself a little time to ask, where do you need a little bit of chizuk, a little bit of extra strength? Where are you finding joy? Where are you finding comfort? Where is Shabbat for you this week? Page 104.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה לעולמה דברה קידותי והמליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמד קודשה ברכו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה קדוש בחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
Whenever you're finished davening, you may find a seat, or you can continue praying as long as you need. In the program on page 9,
Spirit soars in prayer. May I sing from love to waste my sweetness on the world. May I sing from love, not sweetness. May I sing from love, showing with my own soul's flight the God who sings through me.
Let me hear you.
Let me hear you, God, my spirit soars in prayer.
May I sing from
May I sing from love to waste my sweetness on the world. May I sing from love, not afraid to waste my sweetness. May I sing from love, showing with my own soul's flight the God who sings through me. Oh, say shalom, shalom, v'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Oh, say shalom, shalom, v'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom, v'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
So now my soul is thank you. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel, Bilhah, and Zilpah, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, bless us too. Bless and heal all those who are ill. CBST holds in our healing prayers this week Jasmine Berman, Ruthie Berman, Ruth Deborah, Michael Eisen, Erica Foreman, Susie Goldmacher, Pam Hindin, Alan Messer, David Sussman, Marilyn Sussman, Marsha Wallen, Claire Widenskick, Asna Barucha bat Chana Sima V'Yakov, Freda bat Aisha, Mordechai ben Nachman v'Bela Rivka, Natasha bat Yirna Marya, Sarah bat Devora, and Yirna Marna bat Silka v'Akiva. And I invite you to take a moment and say in the room or online in the chat, any names that you're also praying for healing for this week. May all those who are ill be blessed with a full and complete healing, a healing of the body, a healing of the spirit, a healing of the soul, together with all those who are ill among the Jewish people and among the world. May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. We ask that God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. And may all those who are ill be surrounded by the love of friends, loving companions, family, and community. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
And now I'm so delighted to invite up Jason Morrison, Sam's partner, to share the prayer for our country, which can be found in the program on page 17, if you can believe it.
Our God and God of our ancestors, bless this country and all who dwell within it. Help us to experience the blessings of our lives and circumstances, to be vigilant, compassionate, and brave. Strengthen us when we are afraid. Help us to channel our anger so that it motivates us to action. Help us to feel our fear so that we do not become numb. Help us to be generous with others so that we may raise each other up. Help us to be humble in our fear, knowing that as vulnerable as we feel, there are those at greater risk and that it is our holy work to stand with them. Help us to taste the sweetness of liberty, to not take for granted the freedoms won in generations past or recent days, to heal and nourish our democracy, that it may be like a tree planted by the water, whose roots reach down to the stream. It need not fear drought when it comes, its leaves are always green.
All right, but
Amen.
the requisite hug and kiss is a very important piece of the prayer for our country. Thank you. Page 138.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם מרבה.
Amen.
ילמד דברי קירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון וימכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם מעל מעל מיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. ברכו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צולות הון ובאות הון, דכל ישראל קודם ובהון די בשמיה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Yes.
So in this place of the service in which we usually have our drash, our words of Torah, we now enter into the tekes, the ritual of the installation. And as I said before, I'm attached to that word installation, even though it is awfully old-fashioned in some ways, and it comes to us from the Christian tradition of the stall in which the clergy would have their place in the physical space of a church. I love that idea that there is a space for the person we are not just appointing, but there is something in which they live, we live, from which we teach and lead. And I see it so deeply. Can you bring me my siddur? It's underneath the seat. Thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you. We Jews have practiced taking things from other traditions forever. It's a part of who we are, part of all religious traditions. Borrow and integrate and transform rituals, liturgy, music, every food, everything that we think of as Jewish reflects more about the cultures in which we live than anything simplistically called Jewish. And so this is a part of what music, I think, does so deeply, and under Joyce's leadership, we have experienced so profoundly, that there is no such thing as Jewish music that's only one kind of music. And that, I think, is kind of a sickness that part of the world exists in, right? But Joyce, you have brought us so much to understand how deeply Jewish so many different kinds of music is. Not everybody can embody that kind of diversity, that expansive musical appetite that you have, Cantor Rosen. And you and Joyce are such a beautiful partnership in that way. And it's something that you elevate, and as Rabbi Werber said, our souls are all somewhere up here, right? And music is such a profound way to get there. And you know that I live in profound jealousy of not being a musician, and I just yearn to be Joyce's page turner, which she will not let me do. But it certainly was my vision from the first moment that I became rabbi at CBST in 1992 to create a community in which music was at the center of our spiritual lives. And today what we are doing is a light year leap forward. It's, of course, you've been a part of our community as cantorial intern, and now as Cantor for those 2 years as intern and now as Cantor. But there's a way that you've been stepping into this role in a different way, because you're not just a singer. And I had a biblical Hebrew professor in rabbinical school who said, just is the biggest 4-letter word in the English language. Because, of course, Dayenu, if you were a fantastic singer, that would be so worthwhile. That's an amazing accomplishment. It's way beyond my even comprehension. But that's not all what a cantor is, of course. You're not a singer alone. You are a spiritual leader. And that's part of what we are celebrating tonight. You are a spiritual leader. You're a compassionate counselor. You use your music to move us to places we could not have imagined possible. That level of imagination is an enormous gift. So this tekes, this installation, this celebration, is not just an empty, okay, well, he's already been the cantor, so it is meaningless. But as I said in the beginning of the service, it's moving from just your being a full-time employee as a cantor to really becoming the cantor of CBST. And that is a sacred, sacred role. So our tekes at CBST, which we've developed since my installation, which was on September 11th, 1992, is about the community engaging in this process of sanctifying the relationship between clergy and congregation. And that's what it really is about. It's about us as a congregation recognizing that we have obligations and responsibilities in this relationship to take care of, to consider, to think deeply about Cantor Rosen's health and well-being. And that's on us. Literally, it is on us. And it's also about celebrating what you will bring to this relationship that we didn't have before. And so we're not just celebrating you, although it sure, that would be a fabulous thing in itself, but we are celebrating this relationship. And that, as with every relationship, comes with responsibilities and obligations and commitments that go beyond just a contract that is about the financial matters. We, Cantor Rosen, take on an obligation to care for your spiritual health, for your growth as a musician, as a singer, to make sure you have room in your life to be a wonderful partner to Jason, a son to your parents, a sibling to your siblings, and guess what his title is to those nieces and nephews? He's Uncle Sam. So we care about all of those relationships because we want you to be a whole human being who's a seeker, who's a spiritual traveler, who is full of flaws and full of beauty. Because we are, as clergy, here to find a way to light the path, not because we are any better or have the answers, but because we've chosen to throw our lot into this direction. And we are grateful to have a community that's meeting us to join us in this journey. So as we go through this ritual, I want to say to everybody here who's online or in the community, this is not a ritual in which you are just observers, but it is a ritual in which you're understanding you're taking on this sacred part of the relationship as well. So to begin this tekes, this ritual, I'm so honored to invite Cantor Bob Abelson to sing. And as you can see in his bio that is in our program, Cantor Abelson has long taught at HUC and taught with Joyce. Come on, join us up here. And you not only honor Cantor Rosen, it is a profound and enormous honor for us to have you at our modest bima. And we celebrate this multi-generational nature of Jewish life and of teaching.
I'm
Cantor
deeply
Abelson.
honored to have been invited here because, Sam, maybe you don't know as much or how much I care for you as a student and artist that you are. You hear it every minute. You stand before us. Anyway, shall I go?
Yes, it's on page. You may say as much as you'd like, Cantor Abelson. On page 10, the piece that Cantor Abelson will sing to mark this moment is on page 10 of the program.
You know, there's a word pauper there, which is, the Yiddish word is kapsen. So I think it really talks about some guy, and what happens to that Yiddish guy is when he suddenly is faced with music. The magic of music, you can hear it tonight in this congregation. And so, what happens to this man? Joyce? Is a Kapsen einmal gewesen, fleckt Nord mit Gothic Reden. Wunder über Wunder, aus mit ihm getroffen, wenn dort gesungen, aus das Aminiden. Tiribim bam bam, tiribiribim bam, tiribim bam bam, oi, tiribiribim bam, tiribim. Chiribim bim bam bam ba 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 ba. Hat von Nieden sich Wein gegossen, hat Sub geschlungen, Wunder über Wunder, auch mit ihm getroffen, wenn dort gesungen, hat so gesungen. Chiribim bam bam, chiribiribim bam, chiribim bam bam, oi, chiribiribim bam, chiribim, chiribim, chiribim bim bam bam, ba 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 ba. Singt hier uns gieß sich Messikes, ist Rat und frei gesprungen. Wunder über Wunder, hat mit ihm getroffen, wenn dort gesungen, hat so gesungen. Chiribim bam bam, chiribiribim bam, chiribim bam bam, oi, chiribiribim bam. Chiribim, 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 bim, bam, bam, ba, ba, ba ba. Chitty bim bam bam. Chitty bim bam. Chitty bim bam bam. Oh, chitty bim bam. Chitty bim. Chitty bim. Chitty bim bim bam bam. Ba 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 ba.
Thank you.
And now for some words from Cantor Rosen's profound teacher and guide, coach in all things music, Joyce Rosenzweig.
What to say after that? You know, Cantor Abelson is going to have a birthday this coming week. 94. How is that possible? How is this possible? About 8.5 years ago, a lovely young man, a fellow Texan, walked into one of our Wednesday night chorus rehearsals back when we were still at Bethune Street. I invited him to stay and sing with us that evening, and immediately after the rehearsal asked him to sing something for me, as I do with each person who's interested in auditioning. The young man opened his mouth and sang Shlomo Karlebach's setting of Vishamru, which we sang just a few minutes ago. Well, his sense of pitch was excellent. His musicianship was superb, but what I was especially drawn to was the sensitivity, soulfulness, and deep expression that emanated from each phrase. I immediately said, "You're in!" And I guess the rest is history. Sam Rosen became a beloved leading member of the CBST chorus, bursting with excitement to be exposed to a whole new world of Jewish music and Jewish choral music. He began attending Friday night services here regularly, and it wasn't long when he asked if it might be possible to someday actually lead a portion of a service. Well, I remember how seriously he prepared for the awesome task of leading our congregation in prayer, and how beautiful and moving that very first service was, as was each consecutive service that he led. He was a natural. One day, he asked me if we might meet and talk about the role of a cantor, and exactly what was the training that went into preparing for this sacred calling. I was elated when he made the decision finally to apply to Hebrew Union College, Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music, where I'm a professor. And it just so happens that I was a member of the admissions committee, as I am regularly. And I can report to you that the entire committee was actually ecstatic at this audition, feeling they discovered a huge talent as well as a very, very special soul. During his years at HUC, I was privileged to have Sam as a student in several classes and collaborated with him in services, practicum presentations, and finally at his amazing graduation recital, which in fact was the basis for our spring concert just this past June entitled Let My People Eat. His reputation as a student was stellar. Both faculty and students valued and respected his scholarly and musical achievements, and the growth he displayed during his 5 years of study was truly monumental. Besides my work with Sam at HUC, the past 2.5 years, we've worked together here at CBST. It's been absolutely thrilling. It's been a total pleasure to collaborate so closely in prayer and in song to bring our liturgy to life in the most profound ways with glorious music, to work together with our beloved CBST chorus, bringing unbelievable beauty and soulfulness to so many services, concerts, and pandemic videos, writing blurbs, program notes together, and working closely with Rabbi Kleinbaum, the other clergy, staff, and board to continue building this amazing shul. The care as well as the real expertise Cantor Rosen demonstrates with each task he undertakes is truly impressive. But even more important are the ways in which he consistently honors each person he encounters, always bringing a kind word and an understanding ear. He is a total mensch and an old, wise soul, even though he's so very young. In the relatively short time he's been at CBST, he's made an indelible mark on our community. Dear Sam, may you go from strength to strength, and may you continue to share. I can't look at you. May you continue to share your magnificent gifts of song and spirit with our congregation for many, many years to come. Mazel tov, and much love.
And now, as I referred to in the beginning, we as a congregation will offer a blessing. So it's found on page 13, and I'd like to ask Sabrina Farber to join me at the bima for this blessing that we as a community will offer to our cantor. So please notice where it's your time to speak, and then when it is your time to participate in the blessing, please stand at that time.
Eloheinu v'Elohei imotenu v'avotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, help our new cantor to lead our community in prayer. Help him to be a partner with our lay ba'alei tefillah to sing to God a new song.
Help him to guide us in raising our voices in celebration. Help him to bring comfort to those in pain.
May we be partners together in prayer, joining our voices in search of wholeness as we seek God's presence within ourselves and in the world.
Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, give strength to our new cantor. Help him to be a teacher of Torah. Help him to gather for us the music of the four corners of the Jewish world. May his love of Hebrew and of liturgy deepen our love and understanding of the texts and melodies of our people. Help him to teach us and to create with us our own music, our own texts, our own Torah.
May we learn from his wisdom and be open to his Torah. May we join together in expanding our souls with song and in repairing our broken world. Eloheinu v'Elohei imotenu v'avotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, teach our cantor your ways. Let him know patience and humor. Let him be humble and generous.
Let him be gentle and open. Give him courage and strength. Teach him that you are always with him.
May he go from strength to strength. May he learn to number his days and to deepen the wisdom in his heart.
May the work of his hands and the gifts of his soul flourish among us. And let us say, Amen.
And now I'm delighted to invite Cantor Claire Franco to offer some words.
I will definitely not be looking at Cantor Sam Rosen this evening. Before I begin my remarks, though, I must take a moment to thank you, Rabbi James, Rabbi Werber, and particularly you, Rabbi Kleinbaum, for the gracious and warm welcome you have extended to me and to my husband. And I am truly inspired by your community. And if your soul's floating around up here, mine left the building somewhere between verses 6 and 7 of Lecha Dodi, and I just hope it comes back so I can take it back for tomorrow. I am Cantor Claire Franco, and I am deeply honored and delighted to have been invited to share this special evening with you and to speak as you celebrate the official installation of my colleague, my student, my teacher, and my friend, Cantor Sam Rosen. There is so much to say about him, but don't worry, I'm not planning on saying everything. But I wanted to begin, as I always like to when I speak or teach, with a relevant passage from Torah or a meaningful Jewish text. I searched Sepharia, I dug through my sources, and I settled upon the following. Harevech shalach hu hafsed sheli. If you don't speak Hebrew, your gain is my loss. Your gain was truly my loss. But this isn't a story about bitter grapes or regrets. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I want you to understand that as much as you chose Sam Rosen to be your cantor, he also chose you. Our story began over a Skype call when he was in Israel and I was in a hospital waiting room. I knew right away that I had found my student cantor, but we're not allowed to come right out and say that. So I was hoping that my words and my hands and my facial expressions were communicating how very much I wanted to work with him. I wanted Sam Rosen to choose me, and he did. I was so blessed to work with Sam for the next 2 years as he began to blossom and to grow towards the cantor he would become. And we were settled for a 3rd year, and then the call came. He was nervous, I could tell. I kind of knew something was up. He anxiously, and sorry, my friend, not so articulately, explained that the pulpit had something had happened, and it had kind of sort of opened, and it's at CBST, and I could be a student cantor, and he felt so badly, and he was struggling since he really didn't want to disappoint me. But he knew with all of his heart that he wanted to come home. He had a deep connection to this community, and he felt called to serve you. These themes would reemerge as ordination loomed in the future. We talked a lot. Any congregation in America, any congregation in the world would have been thrilled to have Sam Rosen as their cantor. And we told him that over and over again. And he felt called to stay here, to serve this congregation, to return as the ordained cantor that you had encouraged him to become from the outset. I remember him saying, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, these are the people that put the idea in my head, that set me on my journey. I want to close the circle. I want to give them back the cantor they helped to create. And so here we are tonight, celebrating the journey to this moment. The role of the cantor has evolved over the years, and there is no doubt that the spiritual task of the cantor to sing, to pray, and to inspire with their voice. But today's cantor is called upon to educate adults and children, to shepherd people through life's joys and sorrows, to administrate, to vision with their rabbinic partners, to counsel, to create interesting, relevant, and moving worship and musical programs, and that's the short list. Combine these responsibilities with an active, vibrant, dynamic congregation, you needed the best to serve you. And if you don't realize it, allow me to say, you got it. Cantor Sam Rosen represents the very best of my profession. He is a talented, creative, and knowledgeable musician. You've heard him sing. You don't need me to tell you about the beauty of his voice, his ability to send shivers down a spine, to touch a heart, and to liven a soul with the music that pours out of him. I know that he will continue this incredible musical tradition that exists here with the phenomenally talented, my teacher too, Joyce Rosenzweig. And at the same time, I know he will bring new and exciting Jewish music to you as well. Famed poet T.S. Eliot said, "No poet, no artist of any art has his complete meaning alone. His significance, his appreciation is the appreciation of his relation to the dead poets and artists. You cannot value him alone. You must set him for contrast and comparison among those who came before. I have often thought that in Jewish life, it's the same. We cannot value innovation and creativity without the anchor of our communal and individual traditions. It is those traditions that serve as the foundation upon which growth and transformation can occur. Cantor Rosen deeply, deeply loves and respects the tradition of our people and of CBST. You are his roots, and he will grow from them. I read once, the voice is certainly important, and you can hear if it's beautiful or not. It's the gods who decide that. It's more a question of what you do with the voice, which is the mysterious element. It's the personality behind the voice that makes the artist. And it is the mysterious element of the divine and the personality that make a cantor an artist. Cantor Sam Rosen, you are an artist, and you are so much more. You are smart and funny, soft-spoken and gentle, intellectual and spiritual, a unique combination. He has a keen curiosity and incredible integrity. He's a scholar and a skilled teacher. He is kind and compassionate, and he is, as someone else has already said, a mensch of the highest degree. And what we all celebrate tonight is the covenantal relationship between this exceptional cantor and this very special sacred community. This Brit Kodesh will enrich and enliven the souls and spirits of all who are lucky enough to create it and to experience. I know what I lost, and I hope you know what you gained. Take care of my cantor. And so I pray for you that your partnership in service of this synagogue, of Judaism, and of God leads you to wonderful, magical, divine places together. Mazel tov to all of you.
Part of what we do tonight and what Cantor Rosen has created by inviting, thank you, stop, take the tissues over here, and I want to pause for a moment to appreciate the 3 cantors who he invited to participate and to make this service happen tonight. Cantor Robert Abelson, look at the generational arc that we have here, and CBST would like to give you a gift for being part of this tonight. So I'd like to give this to you to acknowledge the honor to have you with us. And Cantor Sarah Anderson, his contemporary, his classmate, with whom I hope you spend a long lifetime together, sharing your lives together as cantors. And to you, Cantor Claire Franco, you're the middle generation.
Thank you.
You were his teacher and helped to shape him to become the cantor that we have today. We are so grateful to the 3 of you and honor this generational art, which the 3 of you so deeply represent. Much as can be said about Cantor Rosen's Menschlichkeit and generosity. I just want to tell one short story from this week. I was going through another one of my hysterias about technology and not being able to handle the technology that we have at CBST even. And I complained to Cantor Rosen and to Rabbi Werber, and I said to them, this probably doesn't stress you out at all. And to Cantor Rosen said to me, but I never had to pick somebody up at an airport without a cell phone. That was how sweet was that to acknowledge, to at least appreciate what we all went through without the... I try very hard not to talk about ages of our clergy, because age is just a number, and we all know that. But it is particularly moving that I've been the senior rabbi at CBST basically for your entire life. And it is so deeply moving to see this community to be so much alive and to be a place in which we can be a place for you to continue to grow into the next generation. And we are so grateful to be part of these links in a chain. So I'd like to invite the board members who are here and the clergy team who are here to help hold this talit over Cantor Rosen's head as we offer this most ancient of blessing. We're going to move the candles away so we don't. Let's take a moment to make sure we're. And I'm going to ask the whole congregation to stand. This is the blessing we all, family, friends, are offering, and we as a congregation holding this talit acknowledge our responsibility to fulfill what Cantor Franco mentioned, the brit, the covenant itself, that we have obligations to you, and we pray that God blesses you. May the Eternal bless you always and protect you. May the Eternal shine light upon you and be gracious with you. May the Eternal's face be turned toward you and bring you peace.
So I usually only do this for B Mitzvah students. So it's a little, I'm feeling a little bit nervous about doing this for Sam. And I will give you, Sam, the option, Cantor Rosen, of sitting at your seat and letting me talk to you this way. Or if you want to pretend you're a B Mitzvah boy again, you can come up around here and I can turn this way like I do with the B Mitzvah students. I'm happy to just, I think you should go up too. I think that's right. Yay! Come on, Sam! It is my great good fortune to stand before you today to present this gift to our beloved Cantor Sam Rosen. This is on behalf of the entire CBST community on the occasion of his installation. Thank you, Rabbi Kleinbaum, for your elucidation of that word. As you know, gifts at CBST are always deeply meaningful. We never miss an opportunity to send a message, along, of course, with much love and thanks. Our gift to you today, at least one part of it, is Cantor Sam, is a Mi Poland mezuzah from Poland. For those of you unfamiliar with Mi Poland, it's a group of artists and fabricators in Warsaw who have scoured Eastern Europe for the remnants of lost Jewish communities. So as Rabbi Kleinbaum said when we were singing Lecha Dodi, that represents your Iberian heritage, and this Mi Poland mezuzah represents your Ashkenazi heritage. They look for traces of mezuzot left on doorposts from before World War II, and they lovingly cast these shadows in bronze and create mezuzot from them. And at CBST, we were so moved by this project that we placed one on each door of our space to commemorate those lives lost and all those vibrant Jewish communities. So Cantor Sam, we hope that you will post this mezuzah on your door to remind you of CBST and the history and culture you so lovingly teach and sing for us every day. You continue to open new doors for us by sharing your wisdom and passions with our community, and we hope we open new doors for you as well. And the second gift is a framed replica of the invitation.
I didn't start with thank you, but I will rewrite it now and say thank you so much. I'm bursting with gratitude. Kind of gonna piggyback on Joyce's story a little bit. 8 years ago, on a Wednesday evening, I walked through the doors of CBST at Bethune Street for the first time. I had never even been to a Friday night service or to anything at CBST. I was a graduate student at the Jewish Theological Seminary studying Jewish history, and I desperately missed music in my life. I worked at a local Hebrew bookstore with Orly, whose good friend Glenn Moans encouraged me to check out the rehearsal of an LGBT synagogue choir. Being from Sugar Land, Texas, I had no concept of what that could possibly be. It was August, so the chorus was rehearsing music for the High Holy Days. And when I heard the level of music that was possible, I realized this was Jewish history unfolding in front of me. I had no idea walking up that ramp and through those doors would alter the course of my life. Serving CBST provides opportunities as a cantor that I cherish. Our Friday night services are full of depth, joy, and spirit. Over time, Rabbi Kleinbaum and music director Joyce Rosenzweig built a community that appreciates Jewish music on every level, incorporating all types of music into our services. This is a rare and important element of CBST's culture, and we get to honor that each week. Our worship also varies on Shabbat morning throughout the month and year. I'm proud to help lead our liberal minyan services, exploring progressive Jewish worship with our rabbis and interns and amazing lay leaders. And once a month, with traditional egalitarian minyan, I'm thrilled to explore chazanut, traditional nusach, and cantorial improvisation. There may be even homemade cholent at TEM in the months to come. This variety leads to creative thinking and to experiences that cater to different people. I'm grateful to so many individuals here today and those that can't be with us, and to countless ancestors who came before me. We recently said goodbye to my beloved grandma, Roberta, who for the 5 years of cantorial school would ask me, "So, are you a real cantor yet?" And after ordination in May, I flew to Houston very early the next morning to spend my first days as a cantor with her, and finally answer, yes. As a historian, I'm so aware that my ancestors made it possible for me to be here as I am today. Rabbi Kleinbaum, you shepherd this community and have watched over it and led it through so much. To be able to learn from you, collaborate, work together, and discuss the finer points of martini making is a true blessing. The trust you have in me is something I cherish. I always say New York City is the Vilna of the 21st century, and you are certainly our Gaon. Joyce, you saw a kernel of something within me at a time when I was not aware of it. You helped transform me into a cantor, a transformation that continues. Our partnership and collaboration leads to imaginative, creative, and deep prayer. The work we do is not only fulfilling, but also sheds light on our collective history. Bringing Yiddish and Ladino songs to this community is a powerful and personal piece of our work on many levels. I'm so grateful that each week brings new energy, joy, and reaching for more. This evening has really been so meaningful and significant, I think more than I expected. Thank you to the CBST board, President Sabrina Farber, as well as the CBST staff, led by Executive Director Yolanda Podazinski, for doing all that was necessary to make tonight just wonderful. Big just. To my guests, Cantors Claire Franco, Sarah Anderson, and Bob Abelson, for your enduring support, your moving words tonight, beautiful voices, and neshamot. To my generous, patient, and loving partner, Jason, I really don't know what I would do without you. And finally, to my parents, Rachel and David Rosen, and my family who's here and online, you give me constant encouragement. And I can finally say thank you for the years of piano lessons. For all these things, I offer blessings and deep gratitude. I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers, I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks or brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay until the end. I feel a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see, but on the road to the promised land, this hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. It's not that I don't want love or hope for more or dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes me so much happier than keeping score. In a world that can bring pain, I will still take each chance, for I believe that whatever the terrain, our feet can learn to
dance, whatever stone life may sling. We can moan or we can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful.
May I ask all the cantors who are in the room to come up front and help us thanking God for allowing us to live to this moment? All the cantors who are here? Would everyone please stand as we take this moment to express gratitude to the Holy One for letting us live to be here for this moment. All right, how prosaic is this? Aleinu, page 140.
Aleinu l'shabbat. שהעמיק אותנו בלימוד תורתו וקידשנו במצוותיך. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שהוא נוטל שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב עיקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אין את מלכנו לפני זולתו,
Please be seated. We pause now to remember those we've loved and lost, either in recent days or in this season in years past. And tonight we mark the yortzites of CBST members Kenneth Wine, Irving Fisher, Sarah Gold, Renee Rosenfield, Robert Christensen, Cynthia Frank Lips, family and friends, Diana Lynn Pospisil, Goldie Levin, Nina Lutrin, Beatrix Eric, Kenneth Sherman, Alan Rosenberg, Samuel Person, Sarah Ziefert Kotick, Joseph Matatia, Madeline Singer Alexander, Leo Goldstein, Jack Hauser, Sarah Novikov, and Wilma Cooper. This marks the Hebrew date yortzeit for those who were murdered at the Tree of Life and Dor Chadash congregations in Pittsburgh on the 18th of Cheshvan, 5779, and we remember them. Joyce Feinberg, Richard Gottfried, Rose Mallinger, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecile Rosenthal, David Rosenthal, Bernice Simon, Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Melvin Wax, and Irving Younger. And we as a community express our condolences, our deepest condolences to CBST member Stephen Fisher on the death of his aunt, Selma Fisher, who died on November 10th, to CBST member Shai Levine Watkins on the death of their great aunt, Nancy Uhas, who died on November 7th. And so deeply we express our condolences to the whole Rosen family on the death of Cantor Rosen's grandmother, Roberta Rosen, who died on November 4th. May their memories be for a blessing. If you are in mourning or observing a yortzeit, or if it's your custom to stand for the Mourner's Kaddish, please do so. It is on page 150 of the Siddur. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Bi'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'yimru Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Li'olam Omei Almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei Kudsha Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran b'yalma v'yimru Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru. May the one who makes peace in the heavens bring comfort to all who mourn here on earth. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
For some announcements, our President, Sabrina Farber.
Ceremonial mask removal, which we haven't done for a couple of weeks. By the way, this is the third time I've been up here in a service. This is the first time that I have been up here for 3 times in one service. I just wanted to make sure everybody took note of that. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to CBST. We are so delighted you're joining us here from near and far via live stream to celebrate this particularly special Shabbat in community. We are so blessed this evening to create a holy space with so many wise and talented clergy voices. Thank you to our Baal Tefillah, Cantor Sam Rosen. CBST is overjoyed to welcome you as our Cantor, and I guess tonight just makes that official. Thank you to our special guests, Cantor Robert Abelson, Cantor Claire Franco, and Cantor Sarah Anderson. It's always a pleasure to thank the amazing CBST chorus, under the expert leadership of our music director, Joyce Rosenzweig. Thank you to Barbara Friedman on percussion and to Judy Ribnick on clarinet. Don't they add a special something? Thank you to Rabbi Sharon Kleinbaum and Assistant Rabbi El Werber for service leadership. Thanks also to our ushers, Gomez and Sally, and thanks to Sharon on chat and to Jason Zivick for all things tech. It's actually David tonight. Sorry about that, David. Thank you, David. Someone filling in for Jason. Join us tomorrow morning for services at 10 a.m. along with Aleph Bet Shabbat, Limud B'Shabbat, and Teen Track for a lively Shabbat morning. Join us tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. on Zoom for Havdalah, led by Kuperberg Ritmaster Rabbinical Intern Adam Graubard. And join us on Zoom on Monday from 7:30 to 9. I, for one, need this class. When Aging Together presents Sharpen Your Mind, little-known tips that will sharpen your mind and memory. Tune in to learn about some of the lesser-known contributions to memory loss and steps you can take today to keep your mind functioning well. I'm looking around the room. I'm not going to name any names, but you all know who you are. Very funny. Take a look at your program. The ARC Immigration Clinic Giving Thanks Dinner returns after several years of sabbatical due to COVID on Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. If you would like to join us, we recommend using Zoom, as in-person attendance is extremely limited due to rising COVID rates. If you'd like to help sponsor this meaningful event, you can do so online by selecting ARC Immigration Clinic under the additional contributions options box. We very much look forward to welcoming many of you virtually and in person. Don't forget to save the date, December 19th at 6 p.m. for our annual fundraising concert, Broadway at CBST, hosted by Seth Rudetsky and featuring Seth and his amazing Broadway stars who are very good friends. Well, right, that's Rabbi, that's why I said it was a fundraising concert, but thank you for the reminder. It is a fundraising concert. We do want to see you, as many bodies as we can possibly pack into this gorgeous space, and lots of people online, but we really do need to raise money. So we know that you can dig deep and you can join us, and it's going to be a fabulous evening. Co-chaired by board members Noemi Maslia and Stephen Raphael. Sponsorship opportunities are still available. Individual and group tickets are available. And there's even, as I said, a live stream option. Thanks again to all of you who have so generously donated to CBST for this High Holy Day season. I encourage those of you who haven't to join us. After a service like tonight, how could you not want to be part of this community? Please join us in keeping CBST healthy and strong. We're inching closer and closer to that goal every single day, and with help from each of you, we will get there. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, one more thing. Don't forget the festive owning after services downstairs for Cantor Rosen, and I am told that there's even going to be champagne. So, see you all downstairs.
Page 19 through 22 of the program, there are so many sponsorships tonight honoring Cantor Rosen and other things. We won't read them out loud, but please read through them carefully. And we'd like to invite back to the Bima all the cantors and rabbis who are here and rabbinical students to join us. Rabbi Werber, Rabbi James, Eliza Schwartz, our intern, please join us over here.
Should we use this mic too, or should I share this?
Yeah. Do you need, yeah, we'll stand over. And I ask everybody to stand.
I'm going to share mine.
And the words, Lador Vador, page 12, we are about this multi-generational honoring of the many generations. Sam, do you want to use this one?
They're sharing. Yeah. So I can stand there too.
We are gifts. We are blessings. We are history in song. We are hope and we are healing. We are
shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part. We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of your way. And the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. Ledor vador nagid golecha. Ledor vador we protect this chain. From generation to generation. Ledor vador these lips shall praise your name. Ledor vador nagid golecha. Ledor vador we protect this chain. From generation to generation. Ledor vador these lips shall praise your name. Ledor vador nagid golecha. Ledor vador we protect this chain. From generation to generation. Ledor vador these lips shall praise your It slides over, and then there's a gorgeous like parocha. Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right.
Kiddush, page 156.
Yom HaShishi, Vaychulu HaShamayim V'aretz V'chol Tzeva'am, Vaychal Elohim et Yom HaShvi'i Melachto Asher Asa, Vayishmar Elohim et Yom HaShvi'i, Vaykadesh Oto, Ki bo Shabbat mikol Melachto, Asher bara Elohim la'asot. Tzavri chaverai v'chavarotai, L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbatot sho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tefillah lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta. Kol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat. Yes.
In CBST tradition, we all must be connected to the challah. Connection with consent, of course. You consent, you consent. And when we're all connected,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.